Have you ever heard a story so unbelievable, you couldn't believe it? Trust me, even I still find it hard to accept. But this isn't just a story, it's a confession before my final goodbye. It's full of regrets and anger that changed my life forever. It's about me, my black cat, and how my actions led me down a dark path I never expected. Listen closely, because by the end, you might ask yourself, could you have made the same choices? Ever since I was a little child, people noticed how gentle and kind I was. I loved animals very much, and had many pets, which made me very happy. I loved taking care of them. As I grew up, this love for animals became a big part of my joy. Animals love us in a way that is pure and true, much more than we often see in people. I got married when I was young, and I was lucky that my wife liked the same things I did. She saw how much I loved pets, so she made sure we had many kinds of animals at home. We had birds, goldfish, a lovely dog, rabbits, a little monkey, and a cat. We had a very big and beautiful black cat, named Pluto, that was incredibly smart. My wife, who was a bit superstitious, often joked that black cats were thought to be witches in disguise. She didn't really believe this, but it's something she liked to mention, and that's why I'm telling you about it now. Pluto was my favorite. I was the only one who fed him, and he always followed me everywhere I went. We were close friends for many years. But during this time, I started to change for the worse because I drank too much alcohol. I became easily upset, angry, and I didn't care about how others felt. I even started to be mean to my wife and my pets. I stopped taking good care of them and sometimes treated them badly. At first, I couldn't bring myself to treat Pluto badly, unlike the other animals. However, as my drinking problem got worse, even Pluto started to feel my anger, especially as he got older and less patient. One night, after drinking too much, I came home and thought the cat was avoiding me. When I grabbed him, he got scared and bit my hand. Suddenly, I became very angry, more than I had ever been. I wasn't myself anymore. I got very angry and kicked him, which hurt his eye badly. I feel so ashamed and horrified by what I did. When I woke up the next morning and the effects of the alcohol were gone, I felt a mix of shock and regret for what I had done. I went back to drinking heavily, trying to forget my actions. Pluto was scared of me and ran away whenever I came close. At first, I felt sad that he didn't like me anymore because we used to be close. But then, I started to get annoyed. My dislike grew even more after as I had healed. It looked almost like it was gone, giving him a spooky look. But this made my wife love the cat even more. She has always been very kind, a quality I used to have and value. One day, I felt a strange urge to do something bad, just for the sake of it. I put a rope around the cat's neck and hung it from a tree, even though I knew it was wrong and he had never done anything to me. I did it with a heavy heart and cried, knowing I was doing something terrible that could risk my soul. On the same night after I did that, a fire in our home burned everything. We were able to get out of the fire, but I lost all my things and felt very hopeless. The day after the fire, I went to see what was left of my house. Almost all the walls had collapsed, except for one in the middle where my bed used to be. This wall wasn't badly damaged because it had new plaster on it. When I got closer, I saw the shape of a huge cat on the wall, as clear as if it had been carved there, complete with a rope around its neck. The image of the cat stayed in my mind for a long time. I felt something like regret, though it wasn't quite that. I missed the cat and even looked for another one like it to take its place. One night, I saw an orphaned large black cat, very similar to my old cat, Pluto. This one had a white spot on its chest. The cat seemed happy when I touched it, purring and rubbing against my hand. It followed me home. Even though I didn't like this cat, it seemed to like me even more. It always followed me closely. When I sat down, it would sit under my chair or jump on my lap, trying to be affectionate. When I walked, it would walk so close to me that I almost tripped. I sometimes felt like pushing it away strongly, but I remembered how I had treated Pluto, and also, I must admit, I was really scared of this cat. Why? It wasn't just fear of being hurt. I feel silly admitting this, especially now that I'm in jail, but my fear was because of something strange. The cat had a white spot on its chest that started to look like something very scary, the gallows, where people used to be hanged a long time ago. The more I stared at it, the clearer the image became. The white spot wasn't just a random shape, it had the distinct silhouette of a noose and beam. It chilled me to the bone. I was truly miserable, more than anyone could imagine. The animal I had mistreated caused me endless suffering. Day and night, I couldn't find peace. The cat never left me alone during the day, and at night, I was haunted by nightmares of it. It felt like a heavy, scary dream that never went away, pressing down on my heart all the time. Because of this, any goodness left in me disappeared. I started having very dark thoughts all the time. I began to hate everything and everyone, and I often lost my temper for no reason. Sadly, my wife, who never complained, suffered the most from my anger. One day, my wife and I went to the cellar of our old house because we didn't have much money and lived there. The cat came with us and almost made me fall down the stairs, which made me very angry. I picked up an axe to hurt the cat, forgetting my fear of doing something terrible. But when I tried to hit the cat, my wife stopped me. In my extreme anger, I turned and accidentally hurt my wife instead. She died right there, without making a sound. I quickly thought about how to hide the body. I couldn't take it outside because the neighbors might see. I decided to hide the body in the cellar wall, like in old stories. The cellar was perfect for hiding things. Its walls were soft with new plaster because it was damp. There was a spot where an old chimney had been sealed off, sticking out. I figured I could easily take out the bricks, hide the body, and fix the wall without anyone noticing. That's what I did. I used a tool to remove the bricks, put the body behind them, and then replace the bricks. I made some plaster that matched the old one and covered the bricks. It looked just like before, with no signs of change. I carefully cleaned the floor. I felt really good about how well I hid it, thinking it was a great success. I decided to get rid of the troublesome cat for good. It seemed to sense my anger and stayed away, which gave me a huge relief. For the first time since the cat arrived, I slept well, despite feeling guilty. The cat didn't return for the next 2 days, making me feel free again. I believed it had left because it was afraid of me, which made me very happy. Even though people asked questions and searched, nothing happened. I was convinced I would be happy from then on. For days later, police officers came to my house to search it. I wasn't worried because my hiding spot was very well hidden. They asked me to walk with them as they searched everywhere, including the cellar, more than once. I was calm and confident, showing no signs of guilt. I walked around the cellar without worry as they looked around. They found nothing and were convinced I had done nothing wrong. I felt so relieved that I almost wanted to brag about my innocence. As the police were leaving, I finally spoke up. "Gentlemen, I'm glad I could clear up any doubts. I hope you stay healthy and maybe be a bit more polite next time. By the way, this house is really well made." I wasn't really thinking clearly and just wanted to say something. It's a very strong house. These walls are very solid. Then, without thinking because I was so caught up in proving my point, I knocked hard on the part of the wall where I had hidden my wife's body with the cane I was holding. Right after I knocked on the wall, a voice came from behind the wall where I had hidden the body. It started as a quiet, broken cry like a child sobbing, but then it grew into a loud and scary scream that didn't sound like anything from this world. It was kind of sound you'd only expect to hear in a horror movie. Mind went blank. Legs wobbled. I reached the other wall. Everyone on the stairs, frozen in fear. Then, a flurry of movement, the wall coming down in a crash. There it was, the body, disfigured and horrifying. And on top, that cursed cat, the reason for my crime, now sealing my fate. I had trapped it in the wall with her, all along. My heart hurts for the path I took. Alcohol was my shadow. It promised to numb my pain. But it fueled my anger. It turned me into someone scary. Every drink made things worse. I lost my kindness, my love, and myself. Alcohol made my anger a monster. It changed me. It led me to do terrible things. If you feel trapped by anger and alcohol, listen, you're not alone. Help is out there. It starts with asking for help. People and places are ready to help you fight. And if you see someone struggling with alcohol, depression, or other pains, reach out. Try to help them. Sometimes, a little support can make a big difference. I wish I had asked for help sooner. Let my story be your warning. Your future can be bright. Reach out. Speak up. Choose light. Your life is worth it. It's never too late to change.
Vocabulary words. Confession. Admitting something you did wrong. Regret, feeling sorry for something you did. Superstitious. Believing in luck, magic, or the supernatural. Affectionate, showing feelings of liking or love. Alcohol, drinks like beer, wine, or spirits that can make people drunk. Annoyed. Slightly angry or irritated. Scream. A loud and high sound made when someone is scared or in pain. Guilty. Feeling responsible for doing something bad. Plaster. A soft mixture that becomes hard when dry, used to cover walls and ceilings. Orphaned, without parents. Listen to the story more than once to understand it better. For more interesting stories, to help you learn English, check out the video suggested on your screen. Click subscribe for future stories that can improve your English. Have a wonderful day.